For years, Bethesda's held a large stake in the sandbox RPG space. I always remember the feeling of stepping out of a vault or the sewers for the first time and realizing that complete feeling of total freedom. However, lately that space has felt a bit empty. There hasn't been a sandbox game that has truly scratched that itch for a deep, immersive sandbox for quite some time. Starfield came out back in 2023, and for me it felt like the remnants of something great but never fully realized. We're likely not going to see Elder Scrolls 6 for a number of years still, and I'm not even going to hold my breath on Fallout 5. With these games taking so much longer in development time to build, I'm seeking elsewhere to find a game that scratches that same itch. Recently, I picked up Rebellion's new title, Atomfall, and I have been having a ton of fun with it, providing a refreshing take on a genre I enjoy getting lost in. It isn't just filling a gap, it's building something new in a space that I miss. It's an investigative first-person shooter that really respects your time, your intelligence, and I think it's worthy of your attention. Visually, Atomfall is surprisingly beautiful. The game is a gorgeous romp along the British countryside, broken up into 6 large zones for you to explore. Walking around is immersive. There's always something ready to draw your attention, and plenty of nooks and pocketed areas with secrets and hidden information ready for you to find. It's got a level of calm to it that makes traversal feel almost peaceful, but also a level of unease that makes you question your surroundings. At the heart of this adventure, I would say this is a game that is first and foremost about exploration and investigation, and a shooter second. The game doesn't hold your hand, it relies on your curiosity. You're not just following a waypoint to go kill a boss, you're piecing together a mystery. Depending on the directions you take, taking on an NPC may be inevitable. Other times you can talk your way out of a conversation with choices and evidence to move tense moments in your favor. You find clues, you read notes, and you actually have to deduce where to go next. There's often multiple ways to solve the same objectives. It surprised me so much that my decisions didn't break the game in any way. I'm so used to jank, messing up quests that are linked together with different outcomes, and that never happened once here. I make a decision and I have to deal with the outcomes. In Atomfall, you're a silent protagonist with no real recollection of your past, and you're given a key card that's used to access something called the interchange. That's pretty much it. You venture out, you meet people, and you start asking questions. The NPCs are all genuinely interesting, each with a reason and a motivation for being. One of the game's strongest points is how it handles player choice. The main NPCs you run into present different philosophies on how to handle the crisis around you, and it's not as simple as good versus evil. There's a ton of nuance and gray area that will test your morals and your ethics. You have to listen, you have to weigh their arguments, and decide who to trust. There's a total of 5 to 6 different endings that change depending on who you decide to resolve the conflict. It forces you to position yourself for the end game based on what you believe, and that level of agency is something I'd like to see much more of. Now, if you're a loot goblin like I am, you're going to enjoy this game a lot. From abandoned homes to caves and secret bases and hidden waterfalls, you're going to find material everywhere that can be used to craft items like bombs and knives, Molotov cocktails and poisons. As long as you pick up everything around you, you're always going to have the resources you need to craft something. You also get a metal detector used to find hidden collectibles with items inside as a nice extra touch of exploration. Now with combat, you've got your pistols, your shotguns, and rifles at your disposal, each with varying rates of fire, some semi-automatic, a few fully automatics, but for the most part, you'll be starting out with single shot or bolt action type weapons that come in various tiers. To start out, all your weapons will be rusty, which provide the lowest stats, damage, accuracy, range, that kind of thing. As you find duplicates of these guns laying around, you can actually combine them to upgrade them. Find 2 rusty weapons of the same type and you can upgrade them to stock. Find 2 stock versions of the same weapon type and you can upgrade them to pristine, which is the highest class. I thought this was a very streamlined approach to upgrading your gear that wasn't complicated and it just felt straightforward. I was able to unlock the pristine versions of all the guns I found, and I could tell a difference in the upgrades, including a nice polished look and appearance. The gunplay overall feels fine. The weapons are punchy, and because many of them are single shot or bolt action, every trigger pull feels important. Ammo is scarce, but always just enough laying around to take care of business. One big downside I found is that your character is very squishy. You have very little health to work with, even with a power-up that increases your health. Things amplify when melee enemies start to swarm you. Enemies mix up gunplay with melee and throwables, and man, the melee attacks are brutal. One or two hits by an outlaw or a feral, and it's curtains. Not only do the guns reload slowly, but you've got no way of defending yourself with like a shield or a dodge or a sidestep of some sort. Something like that would have been so nice. Instead, I have to turn the opposite direction and speed off, since backstepping is not a good option either. Weapon switching and the lack of any real evasive movements made all close quarters combat feel really frustrating. Something I hope is addressed in an Atomfall 2. Overall, nothing about the combat kept me from a good time here. Atomfall was a game I had a hard time putting down. Rebellion clearly knew what kind of a game they wanted to make, and they did most of it very well. The immersion is so good here, so many interesting things to discover, decisions to make, and it kept my curiosity for 30 plus hours. There's even DLC if you have more need to explore, which I plan on checking out here now that I've finished the main campaign. Atomfall takes the sandbox formula we know, strips away the bloat and all the jank, and delivers a very streamlined experience that never overstays its welcome. If you've been waiting for a game that lets you just truly roleplay in a reactive world, Atomfall is the one to play.